On your marks, get set, bake.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is up.
Hey y'all, it's Stays Crunchy and Milk presents Krème Patisserie. We're here to discuss what I think was one of the best weeks of this series of Bake Off. Because motherfuckers showed up this week and I was proud of many of them. But of course, here to discuss, this idea is, of course, Nick Jew of What's the Tea fame.
Oh boy,
Glad to have you back this go round.
glad to be back.
Excellent. We also have the master of names. It's the former Chesterfield Rockwell. It's my man Tatum 216.
Hello.
I'm Taylor 713. You know what it is. I like to start this by telling you, I write down at the beginning in my notes who I think is going home, and I asked Vanessa who going home. And so at the beginning of this episode, I said, as I enjoy guessing, I think Freya's going home, and Vanessa thinks it's Amanda.
I thought it was for sure Amanda's turn to go.
Oh, yes. The editing that they did really fuck with me. Like the long shots of Amanda and like the voiceovers they did for Amanda just made me think she was going home.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I watched it again today, and I'm just a hater, and I don't like Amanda, and I was just looking out the whole time like, she fucking up. So after knowing, the outcome, like Prue said twice during two different occasions, what she baked was beautiful. So like I was just being a hater.
Right.
So yeah, I need to calm down on that shit. Like I really need to, like, kind of like. Okay, how about this? The first bake I can be me. I mean, not the first bake. The first watch I can be me. The second one, take it all in because I wrote so much shit about like, oh, they did this. Yeah, I really thought Amanda was going home.
So I was when we first turned it on. I turned it on. Y'all was already going at it, talking about it Saturday, and I was like, damn, I didn't even watch this shit yet. So I was like, Vanessa, we need to watch this. So because I can't read nothing they done wrote until I watch it.
We didn't say too much.
I didn't. I'm telling you, I wouldn't go open it until I knew. So I was like, all right,
okay, I
need to watch this. So me and Vanessa sit and watch it, right? And I was like, I'm just gonna watch it. I'm not gonna take notes right now. But then I was like, I gotta take notes because I like writing down my first thoughts. I like having them, present in mind and on paper. Like, okay, this is what you said right when it happened. So I like doing that. I did type them up to make them look prettier this week, and that's just so I can read them a little better. My note-taking handwriting is not so bueno.
It's quick hand.
Yeah. Our remaining bakers are, and this I did from my head, alphabetical order. I told Vanessa I was so proud of myself.
Alphabetical order, that's impressive.
Amanda, Chigs, Christelle, Freya, George, Giuseppe, Jürgen, and Lizzie. And like I said, I was like, Jürgen, Lizzie. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Jürgen, Lizzie. That's right.
You
this week's
Freya.
No, I said Freya.
Freya.
Okay. Yeah, Freya square in the middle. Yeah. This week's signature was 2 batches, 12 each, of German biscuits with 2 hours to do it.
So it's German week, and everybody's like, Jürgen. And they managed to pick 3 things that he didn't really know how to make.
Because Jürgen got his taste, and y'all sleeping on that. Jürgen, a Black Forest dude. He don't fuck with this other shit. And they kept shitting on my man like, it's Jürgen week. I'm like, don't do that to my dude, because all you do is set him up for failure because you make him nervous.
But
you make
Prue
the judges look at him harder.
Prue did mention that.
Yeah.
That she said that that even when he bakes something great, that we kind of put him on the pedestal and then we're kind of harder on him. So she did mention that. So at least they have that in their mind.
they're aware.
They were commenting like he did a bad job, but he really didn't. Like he didn't take anything, but they were just like, because he is the guidepost. The competition is around Jürgen now at this point.
I think we'll discuss that when we get toward the end here. So I'm gonna run down what everybody baked as best I can, and I'm also gonna tell y'all how dorky your man's is. So Jürgen baked a tea stern and milk coffee Gipfler. I can't do no German, you have to forgive me, but this is what it is, and they don't have an English translation of it. Well,
I think that's the coffee one, right?
It's milk. I know. If you read it, if you were looking right at the you know exactly what it is. It's milk, coffee. So milk and coffee. You know what I'm saying? And whatever Gipfeli is, it's probably the just the type of cookie it was. Well, my man Jürgen said right here though, because they was kind of picking at it. He's like, I have to do well because I like this bunch of people and want to stay in, and it touched my heart. And I'm like, you little sweetie.
I love it.
Giuseppe made a Beth Munchin and Italian Linzer Augen. His Italian take on the German, whatever. Lizzie made a Mandel Horkin and what she called cheeky boys, which she made cheeky girls, but I don't know. I can't call it, and I don't want to gender cookies, and we won't be starting that here.
The proper name or the name that they usually go by are cheeky boys.
Very good, very good. Christelle made chocolate English Augen and pistachio Idensana, and here is where it took a turn for your mans. Every time they put somebody's recipe up on the screen, I paused Netflix and I wrote it down as written on the screen. I go to Wikipedia to double check my shit yesterday. No, whenever I type these notes up, so yesterday. And they had wild misspellings all through their Wikipedia entry. And I have been a member of Wikipedia for some time now. I'm the dude who can go edit Wikipedia posts, and you know I did. So I was all through that Wikipedia entry, cleaning up these misspellings and stuff, and putting them in the order that they appeared on the screen. I went and cleaned that post up on Wikipedia a lot yesterday. So yes, that's where I'm at. That's the level of dork I've involved myself in. George made these cherry marzipan biscuits and aniseed springerel. Chigs made Hausfreund and almond Mandelhorken. So 2 Mandelhorkens in this go round. Lizzie and Chigs. Freya made Lebkuchen and Zimstern. So another stern. So Jürgen made a stern and Freya made a stern. And Amanda made these motherfuckers that got so many little extra dots over the letters. Spritzlbach and Glühwein Platschkin. Sure.
Was it a biscuit challenge? Was that the overall? There were biscuits, right?
So yeah, they had 2 batches, 12 each, so 24 biscuits total, and so basically 2 types of biscuits, but is what they wanted. And in my opinion, this is the best looking signature they've done all series long. Everybody's cookies came through lovely looking. Not too, oh yeah, don't worry, we about to go through that. So, and because it was so good, there's not a whole lot to be said. Giuseppe, they said perfect. Christelle's, they said a triumph. Chigs was missing the marzipan flavor that Paul wanted. Lizzie's, nice decoration, not as dark as they should be, and a bit too big and too much chocolate. This always goes back to Nick Jew saying these motherfuckers don't know what flavor is. And when they get it, they like, it's too much. I'm like, fuck off, bro.
And then I think Lizzie made the comment that they were perfect to Jürgen. Like she was saying, like Jürgen told her to go 12 minutes. They wanted her to go 15. She was like, I think I'm gonna listen to Jürgen.
I'm definitely gonna listen to the dude who has Star Baker twice and is from Germany before I'm gonna listen, because that'll come up during Showstopper. We'll get back around to that actually. Amanda, astonishingly good. And once they said that, I knew Amanda was in. It was over. I was like, oh well, you've made it now. So you've locked in your place. George, well done. Freya loved the flavors, but it was overbaked. And you can see it was a bit on the dark side.
She burnt her raisins.
Jürgen come through with the handshake. Second handshake of the series.
My guy.
And so then you're off to the races in your mind. You're like, oh, well, it's really about to be Jürgen's week. Until it wasn't. So, so like I said, not a lot to really for me to say there. I don't know if y'all have any commentary on the signature.
They
Yeah,
said
this is
Lizzie's looked like raw dough.
I'm sorry, what? Say again?
Lizzie's cookies look like raw dough.
They were they looked fine. And I'm a dude who bakes his cookies soft. So I can't call it. They want the snap and crunch and all that, and I'm like, I guess, but I don't know, man.
as a person who loves oatmeal raisin cookies and who has burnt oatmeal raisin cookies before, the terrible taste you get throughout the whole cookie of a whole raisin, you can't avoid that. And that like I said, the first watch I was a hater. The second one, watching it with clear eyes, I was like, okay, I see it. That was the beginning of Freya, like cutting her own foot off.
And what the reality of it is of the two people who got, I guess I tested technically Chig's got a little bit of a ribbing as well. Of the three people who got talked to, hers was the one that went the most south. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, overbaked. I like that we used the phrase overbaked and not burnt. So, because it's saying, because there's a difference. You know, it is saying something. It's like this probably could have come out the oven 3 minutes earlier, and as opposed to you burnt the house down.
and then. Yeah, the texture and like it all comes back to yes, she bakes vegan, but you got to bake vegan well.
Yeah,
and she has not been doing that. Like the bottom of her cookies were were chipped off. They weren't smooth. It's like she's like, oh, they stuck. Why did you use parchment paper? I know they got plenty of that shit around there.
It's those little middle errors, you know what I'm saying? And like they didn't even focus on her vegan cooking at all this week. It's kind of like I feel like they was telling us a lot without telling us a lot, you know? So
she definitely got a loser edit, and I didn't notice it either until I watched it the second time, because the first time I was like scared that George was going home.
What made you think George was going home?
It just like the signature was fine. The technical, he was, I forget what position, but even like when they were like, it's either George or Freya, and I feel like they love Freya, so I was like, my boy is gonna be out of here.
I can understand that, but I feel like George's flavors are always stronger.
Yeah,
like I never hear them. Yeah, but I never hear them comment about Freya's. I never hear them say like, oh, that was really good. I never hear them say that about her bakes. Like, at least with George is like, you know, where he messed up the in the Showstopper, it was raw, but they were saying like the tahini and the chocolate went very well together.
Right.
So technically he's not that great, but it seems like with the flavors he's doing pretty well.
Well, and speaking of technically, the technical challenge, which was assigned by Prue this week, was a Prinzregententorte, or a Prince Regent cake. 2 hours, 45 minutes to make, and this cake is a Bavarian-style torte, and it usually has 6 or more layers of thin Genoese sponge. The bakers were asked to make it with 8 layers, but in any recipe, you could have as few as 6 and as many as 9 is what I was reading. How 69? Funny. And they wanted a chocolate buttercream between the layers and a whole thing covered in a chocolate glaze. They also then wanted you to pipe some of that same buttercream on the top of it. So basically 8 spots, and they wanted chocolate crowns on top of the decorations. It was technicals are very, very specific. If you just listen to this and not really watch the show, they have very specific requirements, and it matters that you do them, you know, bit for bit for bit, and don't miss up, which is how your girl Maggie got sent on her way last week.
I felt bad for her. I was a little bit emotional because she just was really happy to like be there and be a grandma baking and stuff. I don't even know if she a grandmother. That was hella ageist. My bad. But she was just like, I knew it, and like I was just having fun, and I think her Achilles heel was she was trying to be like staunchly traditional,
Yeah.
And it just didn't go her way. Peace out. I wish
po-
to speak.
Ant pointed out that Noel came and talked to her as she was listening, as she was reading the recipe,
And she
thusly,
the page.
yeah, thusly flustering her and preventing her from knowing to turn that page over.
Yeah, but you've been baking a long time. You got to know flour go and stuff.
Exactly.
And yet again, like, okay, yes, you know flour got to go and stuff, but with a time restraint and like being flustered already, feeling like I'm fucking going home this week, like all that stuff like on your brain, and this dude come over there talking and writing on your shit. I'm sorry.
But it's TV though. They could have done that like 4-5 times. Like,
Correct.
you know, they talk to everybody.
Yeah.
You're a baker. You making a cake. You need flour. like
I just know that if nothing else, you should realize, sticky toffee pudding. Puddings are usually cake-like. Cake requires flour. And instead, she made these piles of poop. And I was so upset with that woman.
Yes, and I agree with that. But she's also a older, stubborn lady. She realized. She even said like, she mentioned the flour, but it was already too late. And that old fucky gene kicked in, and like, I'm not putting the flour in. Just like I'm not gonna put them onions in. She had time to put those onions in. She had time to put the flour in. But that's just not her bag.
And it's a technical challenge. You're supposed to use all the ingredients they give you. Why would they give you flour? You're not supposed to use it. They don't give you extra shit.
That's a very good point.
It's a whole ass jar of flour just sitting there. What you think that's for? Good time?
Yeah.
It's
I
so
don't know,
specific.
maybe she was going to LeBron that shit afterwards, but I mean, that is a very good point that the flour's on the bench. But like I said, like once she go back, she's not going. She just not go that extra mile. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna put this in here.
Anyway, that's why she ain't here no more.
Yeah.
These are, like I said, I'll read it down the line at what was happening in my mind as I watched this. I was like, George and his batter is gonna do him in because he over there like, I was gonna use it to hold this down. I don't need all this batter. Yes, you do. Oh my God.
What are you doing? All this experimental stuff.
It's like, no, bruh, no. Amanda's custard / cream split and wasn't smooth, and it was a very gritty looking cream. It also looked tasty to me, but that's just, I don't know, that's my hungry ass, so I can't eat drink. As Christelle was setting hers up, it was more and more developing into a dome, and I was like, that is not what is required of you. This bad boy got to be level. And I knew that would not come back to haunt her per se, but it was going to be an issue that was going to be discussed. Jürgen's crowns weren't standing up to the heat, and it's like, oh, bruh. And it's like, I feel like, well, like I said, we'll get to that. Hold on, I'll just keep running down. I wrote down Lizzie is low key coming through, and I think we've been saying that now for a few weeks because it's like, you may not do your homework, but you keep getting these A's. So I can't be too mad at you.
She either gonna fuck around to get a handshake, or she gonna fuck around to get Star Baker like one time.
Yeah, I see her getting Star Baker for sure at least once.
So that's all I said about that. Y'all ain't got anything about the cooking, the prep, anything show up in there for y'all?
It was just like hella hot in the tent, so everybody's like Giuseppe's was melting, Christelle's was melting the worst because her shit just was sliding off. But what made me laugh so hard I think it was Amanda who was like, why is everybody's piping a different color? And then somebody was like, it's supposed to be white, yours is wrong. Like she was arguing with somebody, but like everybody's piping was a total different color.
Yeah. Everybody had a different shade because everybody mixed their cream different. So anyway, that was wild to me. When we got to judging, Amanda's cream did indeed split, but also the cake was tough. Freya's dome cake meant Freya's cake had domed as well, just like Christelle's, and that meant decorations was sliding off the top of it. Chocolate wasn't doing what it's supposed to do. Jürgen's was missing the crown, which in my opinion was petty as fuck to even bring up. it's just I get it. It's technical and you're supposed to, but like I said again, this is where it did come up and where they were like, we might be judging Jürgen a little too hard. And like I said, and Prue brought that up when they were at the table because it's like, yeah, you kind of fucking are. It's kind of some bullshit. Because if everything else was right, don't be on that. Oh, if all you can pick out is that he was missing the crown, then come on, bruh. Solid job overall, but first place was Giuseppe. And yeah, my man Giuseppe. I think I felt like not that he hadn't showed up, but he showed up. You know what I'm saying? He's like, all right, so we let's get this work.
When old boy was like telling him he looks like Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
It was somebody else too, Albert Einstein and one other person. They were dead ass.
Frank Zappa, which I think he looks more like Frank Zappa.
Oh, the love child of Albert Einstein and Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa.
I can see it.
I think if he cut his hair, Aunt, I swear he probably is a real handsome dude under that Albert Einstein hair. I'm not feeling it.
Like,
or he could just let go the other direction and let it grow out so he could look more like Frank Zappa.
Yeah,
I love at the
nice dude though.
I love at the beginning you watch them all pull their hair back and stuff, and of course Giuseppe is one of those doing it, so it just made me laugh. Like, hold on, let me get my perm right.
Right.
He just remind me of an NBA player getting ready to ball out because that's what he be doing.
Like tighten these laces up. Oddly enough, that I have that note somewhere else in here as we proceed. Showstopper, a spectacular yeast leavened cake inspired by German yeast cake, with 4.5 hours to complete. This cake isn't normally multi-tiered, and Paul apologized to Jürgen for having Anglicized it, and that's my point. It's like, bruh, don't. I mean, I guess it is the Great British Bake Off, so of course you're gonna do it. But if a cake is normally supposed to be a layer, let them cook the best single layered cake that they can, as opposed to trying to make them build, I guess. You know what I'm saying? My note here, Anthony, this was for you. Chicks is down there creasing the Air Force Ones. She's just sitting there stand about the oven when they're bending that shoe up like, damn, Chicks.
I saw that shit. You better squat.
No, well, I would like to say when he had Air Force Ones, fine. But the day he was wearing the red, black, the white, black, and red off whites, he did not do that.
Fair enough. Maybe Chiggs knows his shoes, man. So I had to chuckle. But I did write that down. Like, Chiggs over here creasing the A1s. No. I truly did not write a lot of notes here because I mean, I didn't even really think about it. But so what was everybody's bakings and so forth in this situation? I think I was just a little too focused on actually watching people go. I can't even think of anybody. I know George did an anniversary style cake. I mean, yeah, you know.
He didn't even know how long he had been married.
My nigga. Every time I hear people say shit like that, I have been divorced now for X amount of years. I can tell you my anniversary when I did get married, and I can tell you how long I was married just by thinking about it. When I hear men on smoke, I don't know my anniversary. I'm like, do you not know your anniversary, or are you just really on some bullshit? It's like, come on, man, do the math. It's upsetting. Sir, you know how long you've been in your relationship? Probably down to the day, if I thought about it, right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Not really. Like, you know, we've been together for a long time, but like we actually, what's so funny, we made up a date. We was like, all I know is like, we could estimate what time what day we started liking each other. So then we were like, you know what? August 20th. That's the day.
The day that you picked, you know what it is.
Yeah, yes.
And you know how many years, right?
Yes. But like we picked a date together. Yeah. so we can have a solid date, but
I'm pretty sure he and his wife picked a date together too. Why don't he know it?
They got married that day.
or maybe you know the way I mean, I don't know how their traditions are. Maybe he never picked that day. Maybe he was just like, your ass show up in a suit this day. We got everything else.
But you got like napkins, invitations, photographs. Like it comes around every year. Y'all got kids. Put it in your phone, bruh.
Yeah, sir. I'm gonna blame it. We're gonna blame that on nerves and not.
He's like, come on, my wife watches this.
Right.
We're gonna put it on his head, not his heart. We're gonna keep it moving.
Right.
Jürgen took it back to that damn beating up the dough technique, which is not a technique you use when making a cake. Making bread, sure thing. Making a cake, nah, bro, you can't beat the dough up like that.
And didn't his cake come out bready? They said it was too bready.
Wow, it was wild bready. Yeah, and it didn't look like when you looked at it, it had a bread crumb to it. And I was like, yeah, you made bread. It kind of looked like pretzel bread.
I'm not even going to say
it
what
did.
I really want to say about his technique. The family show.
Well, this particular show isn't a family show.
Oh, this behind the paywall. So every time he be smacking that dough like that, I'm always like, reminds me.
I mean, Jürgen has some good looking pipes. Like his arm, like he be cradling that bowl.
Yeah, bro, because he be mixing some shit by hand on a reg. Like if I mix it with a machine, it'll be too tough or whatever. I'm like, man, okay, Jürgen, I see you, big baby.
Respectfully, I need someone's father to use the Jürgen dough technique on me.
The Jürgen dough technique. If I named these episodes, it would certainly be that.
One thing I did, I did write down that Giuseppe's dough looked smooth and perfect. Like
not just his dough. When it came out and they cut it, I was like, "That's cake," which is what they want. And it was like, bruh, which one was Paul talking about? He was like, "I can't." There's nothing I can say. Whose cake came out like just like so spot on? He was taken aback by it. I think was it Chance?
So I thought that was Jürgen in the signature challenge because that's when he got the handshake. He was like, I can't, because Prue said a bunch of nice stuff, and then he was like, I really have nothing else to add, and like shook his hand.
Yeah, well, he was happy about somebody's cake too.
He was happy with Chig's. He was happy with Giuseppe's. Of course, Amanda. Prue said her cake was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I definitely put in the notes, Jürgen beat his dough too much.
Or just enough.
You know. Well, in this case, much too much. And it's an in fact on this go around. But
and like I did also put in my notes that Giuseppe is an expert. While he was doing the Showstopper, he was like, okay, 40 seconds left. Mm-hmm. Like he knew exactly how long, like when to take out the cake and everything. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know this isn't mentioned enough that his father was a damn baker.
Yeah, and I feel like they are sleeping on that idea.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here, I can run through at least what everybody made. I just jumped over here to the wiki entry that I have personally edited. Amanda made a rum, plum, and raisin cake. Chiggs made a lemon and mixed peel cake, and like he really hit it hard with the orange because he kept saying they keep bitching about his flavor. Mm-hmm. Then I think they still bitched about his flavor. Christelle made a Bavarian brioche. Freya made that upside down cake with the plums in it and the wine. George made the chocolate and tahini anniversary cake. Giuseppe made the Amarena cherry cake. Jürgen's was the beer soaked cake. And Lizzie's was the Bavarian fairy tale, is what she was aiming for. And like I said,
what kind was Amanda's again?
Amanda's was the rum, plum, and raisin cake. So she had plums in hers just like Freya's did. Which I keep seeing happen with Amanda. Amazing. I know, but Amanda shit keep coming through with somebody else having done something similar or the same kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It was octopuses that one week, and now it's plums this week. I feel like I want to go back and look like whose style you copying and why.
Maybe it's like there's always going to be one weaker. I might as well do what somebody else is doing.
Mm-hmm. And try to flip it and make it work. So when it's all said and done, Giuseppe is this week's Star Baker. Well earned. What I noticed all of a sudden was like there has not been a woman as Star Baker this series yet. It was double Jürgen, it was Giuseppe, it was Chigs and Giuseppe, and I'm like, what's going on here?
If anyone has the chance, it's Christelle.
Yes, if she can keep her head about her, and she keeps seeming to mess up or flub it in the technical.
Yeah,
Yes.
Keeps me. That's where she seems to stumble at, and it's what it is. And what I noticed is and my thoughts were, is because that's the one she doesn't get the practice.
Mm-hmm.
When well practiced, she can come through and like, okay, I know what I'm doing here. But when it's like, I need you to make a recipe happen, it is where I feel like she stumbles.
yeah. I think honestly think if anybody's gonna win Star Baker as far as the females go, I might, especially the more I think about it, Amanda might fuck around and win it. Like if they do like a pie week or something next week, and it's just like all stuff that she can hit off with flavors.
Yeah.
I mean, she honestly might be the dark horse. Like I said, I was a hater. I just didn't like her, and it seemed like she's doing some strong bakes.
The thing about Amanda is, I think the tint is getting to her. I feel like the stuff that she's messing up on, she's always like, I've never messed up on this before. Like, how is this happening? How is this happening? Except for when her stupid ass used a damn sugar cookie to make a structure. But I think Amanda has the nuts for sure. I wrote a little post for our Patreon about like this being the first season I've ever disliked contestants, plural. Amanda and Lizzie, and I had to really like check myself because show is my happy place. I love to just like get under a snuggly blanket and watch how lovely everyone is. And I'm like, why don't I like Amanda? Why don't I like Lizzie? And I think I like Lizzie. I think it's that I don't understand her sense of humor. And so now I'm starting to see that her dry and whatever her comments, she's funny. I don't understand her English sense of humor because everyone else responds to her in a really like jovial way. So I think it's just my American sensibilities. I don't get it. And
It's not your sensibilities because I don't like that shit either.
Right. But I think people find her funny. I don't. And Amanda, I think Amanda like reminds me of somebody that I work with or something that I didn't like. And that's what it was about her. So this week I was like, let me not be a salty ass hater and try to enjoy everybody. And Lizzie didn't rub me the wrong way this time, like she usually does.
She was talking to Matt, and he said something to her. She was like, "Was you?" And she said it in a way that I was like, like that's not the right way. I mean, maybe that's just the British way of saying it. It just made me laugh. That Liverpool accent is
it's tough to get through too.
It is sometimes challenging to parse, and I mean, a lot of people tell me they throw the captions on when they listen to English people speak, which makes me laugh because I love a nice English accent. Game of Thrones taught me. So,
but hers is like that Liverpool. That's something else.
She has a very sing-songy voice. She'll be like Patisserie, and she'll spread it out further than it needs to go. It's like, cool, Liz, chill out, man.
Because even Freya's accent, I was like, what the hell did she be saying?
Yeah, Freya does have like I mean, we're American. All of them sound to a certain extent weird.
They think we all sound like cowboys. It's cool. We get it. We all sound weird.
Also, Freya's 19, so I think a little bit of her issue is just being young.
Yeah. And speaking of Freya is who we sent home this week, our youngest baker. It was the right call. For once, I didn't feel like this other motherfucker could have went. Like, no, Freya should have went home this week. And the fact that she made it through half the season, half the series, with mostly vegan bakes, is pretty good. It's a pretty good showing on her part, and I dig it, man. And so
yeah. This is the first time I felt bad. Like all the other ones, I was like, oh, okay, but this one I did kind of I got kind of sentimental when she was leaving. Like the rest of them, when my boo left too, I didn't like that, but
they seem to have a genuine cry over the baby leaving because that's basically what it is. You know how it is. A lot of these older people, these are like, oh, this is my This is like either my child, pseudo child, or my pseudo sibling, and they have to send them away. You know what I'm saying? Especially, like I said, as you just get deeper into the series, it's always sad to see somebody leave.
Yeah.
So that's how it goes down. Next week is pastry week. So with that being said, who going home?
George.
Because pastry is always about that lamination. George's butter so gonna bake out that fucking. You know it is. You know he gonna mess that lamination up, and that's what's gonna do him in.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like overall, flavor will be okay, but like overall technique and the the looks, he doesn't have it. I hate to say it, I like him so much, but like I couldn't imagine him making a croissant. I can't see it.
He finally got his shit together this week, timing wise. I don't feel like he fell behind at all this week. In fact, I don't think anybody did this week. Everybody seemed to really be able to really understand what the clock means this go around. But it has been in the weeks prior. That's been his thing. It's timing. And like I said, pastry is when we get real scientific. It's super duper French when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? It's very much based on a lot of French cooking styles. And this is when, like I said, you kind of gotta show up if pastry weeks past have been any indication. So, yeah.
I guess like overall, the way I think about it, like through like past seasons, like when they make that last bake, like I don't remember what season it was where they did like a wedding cake or celebration cake. Who can I see making a celebration cake at the end, a beautiful celebration cake?
Yeah,
it's not George.
It's not George. And that's no disrespect to my man.
No, it's not.
Everything he make gonna taste great if it's baked all the way through.
Yeah.
But if we keep it at 100, it's not Amanda either. Like as far as decorators that's left in the tent, she can't decorate.
Yeah,
I can see
I'm just gonna mix up some cream and pipe it on this cake. Like, girl, what is you doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then she joked about it like, how come none of y'all got cream on y'all cake? That was pretty funny.
I think George is going, and I think if Lizzie is gonna get a week, this has to be her week because pastries aren't really like decorated the way that other foods are.
Yeah. So we shall certainly see. But there you go, people. That was German week. First time they've done that. Interesting. I'll give that much. I don't know if I favored it too much. It was like Japan week last year. Japan week favored one particular baker that was Kim Joy last time. And she did act a fool and do the damn thing in Japan week. So
she did.
Yeah. So maybe that's something we can measure or take a look at going forward in other seasons. If they are going to do a nationwide theme, is somebody on the show from that country or something like that,
Well, hopefully they do Black People Week and learn how to eat seasonings.
I wonder how Black British folk get down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, most of them are like Caribbean, so
yeah, and so and then it's like because all the Black Africans is in France. It seems to be. You know what I'm saying? We don't get a lot. Although there seems to be some in Ireland.
There's Nigerians over there too. Well,
Yeah,
Black people are everywhere, but I think I don't know shit about the UK, but all the Black programming I watch, people are Caribbean or African or whatever.
Yeah. So we shall see what everybody does.
I don't want y'all to get no emails. I understand that there are Black Brits.
we ain't gonna get no emails no matter what we say.
If you really got some shit to say to me because I don't have a full understanding of the diaspora, I'm sorry. My people was enslaved and stolen. I got an excuse.
I got a perfect excuse for everything. Slavery.
That's Nick Jew.
Slavery.
That's Tatum 216.
I don't know my heritage name, so Tatum X is what I'll try to go by.
Tatum X. I'm the NS 713. We'll bake with you next week. Peace.
Dad, what happened to you?